Hi guys, okay, I'm going to say three things, you can count, I'll try and make sure it's three things, about half-swording. What is half-swording? It is doing this with a sword. Usually a longsword, but doesn't need to be, but it's something that's featured in the longsword treatises. And you know, there's debates about how you put the hand, whether you rest the hand against it, which is shown in some places, whether you actually grip it, which is shown in other places, but we're not going to focus on that now. So the three things are, why do you half-sword? Okay, well firstly, half-swording is done both out of armour and in armour in the medieval and Renaissance treatises. So it's not only an armoured thing, however, it is very useful and very prominent in armoured fighting. Okay, so what I would say is, yes, it's sort of an armoured style of using the longsword, but it's not only used in armour, because it's definitely shown out of armour as well. Okay, so the three reasons why you do it. First of all, when you hold the weapon like this, it becomes like a mini pole weapon. Okay, you've now got two ends, your hands are far apart, and you've got a great big lever. So when you're coming in close, or you come past a person's weapon, it becomes very good to aiding wrestling, throwing, just generally getting up close and personal with a person. Even pushing them away, as shown in some poleaxe techniques. So it's very useful up close, and it would be very useful in the press, as it's often called. So if you're in a close melee with lots of people around you, the sword might be a lot easier and useful to use like this than using it traditionally like a sword. So that's the first thing to say about it. Okay, it's good for close-in stuff. The second thing is point accuracy. When you hold the weapon like this, it becomes much easier to get the point into gaps, and this is especially useful in armour for armoured fighting, of course. Okay, so if you're fighting someone in armour, there are certain weak points in plate armour. For example, the armpits, the inside of the elbow, back of the gauntlet, back of the knee, crotch. Sometimes helmets have some kind of openings around them. So accuracy with the point is a very useful thing, and of course it gives you a short point as well. So it's for getting up close and getting the point in at nice extreme angles to get into an armoured person. And the third and final thing is something that I think doesn't get mentioned a lot, but which I think is a pretty major reason. With a blade, when you're pushing it into something resistive, such as the mail, the chain mail in someone's armpit, when you've got a long blade here, it flexes quite easily, okay, because its width relative to its length is very thin, so it's a flexible object. As soon as you hold it in the middle, you're now only dealing with this portion of the blade, so you're essentially turning a flexible blade into, or a semi-flexible blade into an incredibly stiff and shorter blade. So not only is it good for wrestling and good for point accuracy, but it becomes much more powerful in the thrust and much more able to penetrate resistive substances. Okay, so there's three things about the half sword. That's what it is. Go away and do it and have fun. Bye.